OCD together, take the EQ out, just the OCD. So unplug the OCD, or turn off the OCD. So this is clean channel. So if you jump them, you get a little more of this channel, but bright channel is not my favorite. Turn this post phase all the way down. So it doesn't turn all the way off, but it does sort of act like an attenuator. That's kind of what it does, but it allows the EQ to work, because if you do the pre-phase master volume, these don't work unless you open up all the volumes all the way. So it's kind of pointless, and the distortion sounds terrible. It doesn't sound anything like a 2203. So basically, without a pedal, you still have to crank the amp and would need probably a power break, but this does choke it off a little bit, so you can get some crunch. Just a slight bit of drive without it, I'm talking over it. So it's, louder than TV, but not blaring loud. And then you just open this up all the way and it basically takes it out of the mix. But what it does, what I like about the post phase better than the pre-phase, is it lets the EQ work even at low volumes. And if you take the master volume out completely, these are like insane. They basically go from off to full blast. Like if you crack it, it's like full blast. It's like, man, there's like no taper. You could probably change those pots because they're original, but this little simple mod allows you to plug pedals in. Now the thing I have to say that I'm impressed with this old 4-hole Marshall JMP, this is a 1979 50 watt, is it takes pedals, distortion pedals, better than any amp I have ever heard, even better than the 800. It's way different and way better than a Fender. It's something about the frequencies, the tube complement or whatever, but it just takes pedals, distortion pedals better, and I'm like, oh, that's like the old rock sound. So and the cool thing about if you use like a distortion pedal, like I'm using an OCD Germanium, so it sounds really good with the OCD. If you got like a Marshall Shredmaster Governor, it'd probably sound better, or Friedman BEOD. I don't have anything. You can play with brightness. That sounds. That treble is really sharp. You don't need much, but these amps have way more bass than this amp. And this is 100 watts. So I don't know what it is about these 4 holes, but the circuit's obviously a little different. The preamp arrangement's different than this one, but this has crazy bass. This has like the same low end in my experience as like a rectifier. I mean, that's, I can talk over it, but it's a ton of low end. And the bass on 6 really loses its body, so like mid, halfway, bass halfway, treble. And then you can adjust the distortion pedal volume to take. See, off. You can that, and then you overdrive the OCD with an EQ pedal or a tube scream or something. You get basically get early 80s metal. I mean, it's it works. It sounds great, and all of the Friedmans and all the new stuff is really, they're just trying to emulate that, but you have this right here, and when you have these original transformers and stuff in them, you get this insanely percussive, not unpleasantly percussive, but very percussive, very responsive, takes distortion pedals better than any, like I cannot get a Mesa Boogie to take a distortion pedal. I cannot get the DSL Marshall stuff to sound, I've played the JVM stuff, I've played the DSL stuff, it all is terrible. The reissue 800 stuff is good. It's not quite as good as the old stuff, but it's good enough for most purposes. But you say, okay, I need a little more volume, a little more brightness. Use the treble a little bit. Let's turn it up a bit. That's a pretty good sound, and I don't have the noise gate on. There's a noise gate on. You know, it's about the same amount of hum or whatever that, you know, the 800. This is a 1983. This is a 1979. They make a little noise when you play, you know, multiple distortion pedals into them. But sound is just, it's bigger, more open, less compressed, less boxy, less sort of congested, or all these words that people use. It's just a more 3D, bigger sound than any of the modern stuff that you'll see. So this is very low end, so I want a little more brightness. So let's just touch the treble up. Turn the bass up. All right, let's see if, yeah, that's pretty good. Put some delay on that. Got the Boss, whatever, DM2 Waza Crash, pretty good delay. Alright, there we go. So let's see what it sounds like with clean. Just, you know, turn the pedals off. I mean, to me, this is the Plexi style Marshall may have the best clean of all the amps. I mean, they're loud as all get out, but you know, I'm talking over this. I mean, I don't play this loud, but this is a little louder than I normally play as I've gotten older. But you know, it is possible to play these at home, but it's also possible to play them in the studio on stage. But you get this incredible, this is a Les Paul Custom that I'm playing here, 2010. Got a jazz pickup in the neck. can make this a lot brighter if you blend the treble channels. To me, that's a bit too much. It could like cut glass. So you just kind of, to me, jumping the channels doesn't gain anything unless you're using like an attenuator. So I just plug into the bass side. These amps have bleed over, so it's just how they are from that era. So you can still get the treble in there. It's just not as like pronounced. It's not as like full blast treble. You can kind of just boost it up, and then you can add treble, and you can get something that's really, really nice, like a neck pickup on a Les Paul like this. But it takes distortion pedals. Every Fender I get, none of them sound good with distortion pedals. I have a Mesa DC5, sounds terrible with distortion pedals on the clean channel. And I'm like, I don't know what Marshall does, where the frequencies sit, but even the clean channel or low input on a Marshall, even the cheap Marshalls, sounds better than plugging a distortion pedal into a Fender. I know a lot of people like Fender amps and plug fuzz. They always, to me, sound like a clean channel with a layer of fizz and crap on top. They just never sound like a melded distortion signal. But with a Marshall, it somehow melds its signal with the distortion pedal signal and actually sounds like a unified signal. And it sounds like, oh, that's from the amp. It's like, no, that's a distortion pedal. It's like, really? I mean, it just integrates very, very well. It's all about integration. Bridge pickup. I don't know how to play Leonard Skinner, but whatever. Get some gain on that. I had the volume on turned down. Let's go ahead and boost it with the EQ pedal. Anyway, you get the point. So that's a 50 watt 4-hole from 1979.